Hello friends, welcome to my channel, yours truly. This is my first video and today we are going to talk about runtime permissions in Android which were introduced from API level 23 and above. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and pressing the bell icon. Thank you. This is the basic flowchart of runtime permissions in Android. The first step is always to declare your required permission in your manifest file, and then in your activity or in your fragment you should check whether the permission is granted. If it is granted, you do the work related to your required permission. Otherwise, before otherwise if it is not granted, then you proceed on to the second step, that is for asking permission. Before asking for permission, one should always check that whether a should show permission rationale dialog should be shown. This dialog is not shown when the app requests the permission for the first time. Otherwise, if the app requests permission for the second time, then it then you can show a user a dialog that why you want this permission, and then you ask for permission. And then when you ask for permission, the system tells whether the permission is granted on this method, and this method is called on request permission result. In this method, if the permission is granted, then again you do the work related to your required permission. Otherwise, if it is denied, when the permission is denied, then there can be two cases. The permission is denied just once. Otherwise, else the permission could have been denied and the user checks on don't ask again. And if the user checks don't ask again, then if you check again in this method itself, that should show permission rationale. If it results into true, then the user denied a permission and can ask him again. Otherwise, if this should show permission rationale method returns false, then the permission is permanently denied and you cannot ask the user the same permission again. For this, you have to ask user to go to your settings activity, and then there he can turn on this permission. So that's all about flowchart. So let's get into work. So let's start a new project. The application name will be Runtime Permissions. Next, the minimum SDK version we are keeping is API 21, that is the lollipop, and with an empty activity. I don't like to use any of the activities. I like to start off with empty activity and then go on with it. Clicking on finish. Just wait for the Gradle build to be finished. Going into full screen. First, we will look out our resource file, that is the activity_main.xml. Preview, design tab, because it's just a simple application which will only tell you how to request runtime permission, so we won't be looking into UI much. Just plain simple UI. A button here, we'll just constrain it to the bottom of our text view, and right and left constraints. The button text will be request permission, and the on-click attribute of the button will be what we are doing, that is to request the permissions. Request permission. We'll create this method in our main activity. See, here it's created. The ID I have not changed. For the text view, it's the text view, and for the button, it's simply a button. Defining our text view as text view and our button as button. Now, as soon as an activity is created, the old boilerplate code is to find view by ID. Text view is equal to find view by ID r dot id dot text view, and for the button will be button equal to find view by ID r dot id dot button. And for these two errors, just simply click alt enter, alt enter. That's it. Now as soon as our view loads, what we can do is we can check if the permission has been granted. Wait a minute, we haven't decided on which permission we are going to work upon. So let's say we are going to test whether the location permission is granted or not. So before making any request to the user for asking for permission, our first step is to define the permission in the manifest file. So let's go to our manifest file, and here in the at the top we define users permission like this, and permission, what I'm doing, simply type in find location. That's it. If we haven't defined our permission which we want to ask the user in the manifest, then we will be certainly getting error. So this is a must. This is you can say step 1. Now going back to main activity.java, firstly on create we are going to check whether the permission is granted or not, and for checking our permission we'll use an if block. If context compare dot check self permission, context will be main activity dot this, and our permission is manifest dot permission dot access find location is equal to package manager dot permission granted. If the permission is granted, what we can do, we can set our text view to permission granted, like so. Else we can say text view dot set text permission is not granted. Now coming to the request permission, which is an on click, which this method is an on click handler of our request permission button. So again we are going to do the same thing here but a little differently. Like first we are going to check whether the permission is granted or not. So if context contact dot check self permission main activity dot this comma manifest dot permission dot access find location is equal to package manager dot permission granted. I would like to make a small change here. We will not check, we are going to, if it is not equal to permission granted, then we are going to proceed here. Else it is granted, and we can say text view dot set text is equal to permission granted. So now coming back here, now we can mark down here that permission is granted, and here we can say permission is not granted. So when the permission is not granted, what you have to do, you have to ask the user whether he wants to grant a permission or he doesn't want to allow a permission. So, and before asking the user before asking the user, what you can do is you can explain him why your app needs a permission. Uh, it is not necessary whether that you should present it, but it's always a good idea to present, to tell the user why this special permission is needed. So for that, we would do like so. If active, now one more thing, if it is the first time you are asking for permission, then that should show rationale would not be required. But if it's the second time you are asking the user the permission, this should show rationale would be shown to the user. If activity compat dot should show request permission rationale, and here we can say our activity is this main activity dot this, and permission is manifest dot permission dot access find location. Else what we can do, if it is the first time we are asking the permission, we can directly ask user the permission. Activity compat dot request permission. It takes in the first parameter of the activity, main activity dot this, and a permission, which permission you need, and manifest dot permission dot access find location, and comma, here we need a request code for find location. We will define this constant somewhere here. It should be a static int, rather static, it's a final int, request code find location, and it can be any integer 1 2 3 4. So here, when the first time user asks a permission, then and this would be, the user will be presented with a dialog box where he can deny or grant a permission, and this result is called back on permission result. We can delete this and we can check here. We'll come back here later. First we'll go in the request permission method, and if it is should show rationale, we'll present user a dialog, new alert dialog dot builder main activity dot this, comma, new set message. We need permission for find location. No need to set a title. If you want, you can do. We'll also do set cancelable to false, and we'll add a positive button or set positive button. Text will be okay, and here new show. Now when the user clicks OK, then what you can do is you can ask this permission. I can copy this exact stuff here and paste it in here. So it will again ask the user the permission. Now coming back to the on request permission result, if request code equal to our request code, from which we have requested this permission, then we can proceed on in this method. Otherwise it's not because of us that this method is being called. So if grant results dot length is greater than 0 and grant results equal to package manager dot permission granted, then a permission is granted. Here permission granted, else permission is not granted. So if it is granted, then what we have to do, set text that permission is granted. Otherwise, now again, this is one of the best parts of this method, that should show request permission rationale. Suppose the user denies your permission and also clicks on don't ask me this permission again, then the system automatically, without asking the permission, it will automatically deny the permission, and it will come to this block, this else block, and it is from here on you can check that whether should show permission rationale is true or is it false. If it is false, then the permission is permanently denied. That means that you cannot ask the user the permission again. Otherwise, you can ask the permission again. So here we will check if not activity compat dot should show permission rationale. This block here means permanently denied permission, and you cannot ask the user again for this permission. Otherwise, else. This is simply means that the permission is denied, and you can again ask the user for the permission. So you can say here text view dot set text permission not granted. So now suppose if the user has permanently denied your permission and you want him to allow this permission before proceeding with your app, what you can do is you can make another function here, private function, private void, go to application settings, and here what we will do is we will make an intent which would take us to our application settings in the settings of our phone. So for that we can define an intent here, intent equal to new intent, and we'll set an action to this our intent dot set action, and action will be settings dot action application details settings, the first one. Well, I do not know how this is done. I just searched on Google and found this piece of code there in the Stack Overflow. URI would be like URI dot from parts scheme will be package, and our get activity get parent, get calling activity dot get package name, comma, and fragment will be null. You can simply copy it from here and use it in your own code. It's complete. And now intent dot set data would be this URI, and start activity intent. So coming back to this block, here our permission was permanently denied, so we'll make an alert dialog which would take us to settings. New alert dialog dot builder. Set message. You have permanently denied this permission. Go to settings to enable this permission. And what you can do, you can set a positive action button like so. Go to settings, and with a new, and here we will say show, and we will say set cancelable equals to false, and we'll also give a negative button here. Negative button is like cancel, which will do nothing but just let's cancel this stuff. And when the user clicks go to settings, then here we can put this method. I guess our application is complete, and now it's time to run it on simulator. Use a simulator. Now run this app. So this is the complete code. It will be soon on GitHub, but right now it's here only. And please don't mind, this is my first video, and I'm trying to help you guys. If you don't like it, give a dislike button. If you like it, give a like button. As far as the code is concerned, I have not found on YouTube this complete code. So permission is not granted. As you can see here, it came here and it said permission is not granted. Now what we will do, we click on this button, request permission. Oh, this is not clicking. Yeah. Allow runtime permission to access this device location. So see here, this is the first time we are asking for permission. So this code inside this should show request permission rationale. This is not shown, and it automatically goes to this else block and requests the permission from here. So let's deny it first. Okay, permission not granted, that's true, because it came here, not granted. See here, this is a typo, not with a capital O. Now again we'll request permission. Now here you see that our dialog is presented. We need permission for find location, and it's shown here we need permission for find location. Let's make it a bit bigger. We need permission for find location, and when you click OK, it will ask the permission again. Now again do one thing before clicking allow. Always check, always be prepared that the user is going to deny your permission, and somehow if you want the user to grant this permission to you, you should always check for the deny cases, like don't ask again and deny it. Now what happens? You denied, it came again here, and now it is not granted. That was true because you have denied the permission, but we have also clicked that don't ask this permission again. So what happened? This alert dialog is presented here. If you cancel it, nothing will happen, it will be cancelled. If again you will request this permission, this again alert dialog will appear, because as soon as the system requests permission, it automatically denies the permission and again comes to this block. Let's check out here. See, and now if you go to settings, oh wait a minute, what happened here? Wait a minute, I think there is some typo error here. It will be get activity. I don't know why get activity is not shown. Oh, simply because we do not need we can or simply say get package name. This dot get package name. That's my problem. Again, run the app. Oh, sorry for this mistake. Now again request permission, go to settings. Now it opens our setting. Runtime permission is our application and permissions is not granted. You can came here, you can click here, and again when you go back, permission is not granted, but if you click request permission, permissions granted. Now do one thing, go back, sorry, go back to settings, and just remove this permission, runtime permission, and remove this permission, then go back to your app here, and then again request permission. Again it came here, we showing a rationale, and then OK. Now here we allow, permission is granted. That's it, guys. Please sorry for any delay, and please sorry if I am fumbling, because this is my first video and I am trying to help you guys, and in the future videos I will be trying to improve upon my voice and speech. So thank you, and if you like it, please do like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up, and if you don't like, don't hesitate to give it a dislike. Thank you.